Yeah, so get this. I had said how, Donald Trump's bloodline, he goes back to kings, and I assumed it was on the MacLeods. I assumed it was his mother's line because it's King of Scotland. The fourth he goes back to, King James the fourth. No, that's all through his dad's lineage, Fred Trump's. Like, that's just crazy to me. I just assumed, that it was Scotland, so it had to be as, so sorry about that, people. That threw me for a loop. So it says here, royal connections. Through the father, Fred Trump Jr., Donald Trump is a descendant of King Christian I of Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. This royal lineage extends to Scotland, with King James the Fourth of Scotland as a forefather. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton share a common ancestor, John of Gaunt, son of King Edward III. Iceland connections. Fred Trump III's genealogical research revealed that Donald Trump is related to most Icelanders, tracing his ancestry back 25 generations to King Haakon V of Norway. Now, the MacLeods, so it's all his dad's line, but the MacLeods, Marianne MacLeod herself wasn't from any royalty except being, a MacLeod, and they have their own kind of rich history, but, because they're a Scotland clan. But that makes sense, too, because she came to America because she was poor. When she came to America, she was a maid until she met Fred Trump. Yeah, but there was no making, the economy was so bad there, so she came here. But the MacLeod clan, given that, they have their own rich history of royalty, even though it's not at the levels of kings. It's who their chiefs are. But what's interesting is they actually go back to the Vikings. They go back to Olaf the Black, who was a 18th century sea king who controlled the Isle of Man and parts of the Hebrides. Leod, L-E-O-D, early chieftains. Leod, the Viking ancestor, is believed to have lived in the 13th century and was a powerful chief. His two sons, Tormod and Torkul, I know I'm mispronouncing that, founded the two main branches of the clan. So it was Viking that founded the clan, Vikings. The MacLeod clan has a rich history with connections to the Norse kings of Man and the Hebrides. According to the clan tradition, Leod, the progenitor of the clan, MacLeod was the younger son of Olaf the Black, king of Man, 1229 to 1237. This lineage is supported by alternative genealogies, including those published in the Clan MacLeod magazine, which suggest a connection to Helga of the Beautiful Hair, a female line descendant of Magnus, the last king of Man. So Olaf the Black, goes 1170 to 1237, was a Norse king who ruled the Isle of Man and the Hebrides. He was a member of the Crovan dynasty, which had ruled the Isle of Man. And then I think I said Olaf the Black was a Norse king who ruled the Isle of Man and Hebrides. He was a member of that dynasty. Olaf's reign was marked by conflicts with the Scottish crown, and he was eventually killed in 1237. Leod and the MacLeod clan. Leod, the younger son of the Olaf the Black, is believed to have settled in the Hebrides and established the clan MacLeod. The clan's two main branches, the MacLeods of Dunvegan and Harris, and then I think the other is the Isle of Lewis. So the clan history has its own rich history, but nothing that is from any king. All of that was Donald Trump's dad. So now, throughout history, several notable MacLeod chiefs played important roles in Scottish politics and clan affairs. For example, Rory More MacLeod, the 13th chief, hosted King James V, not 4th, but the King James V at his hall in Dunvegan, showcasing his hospitality and diplomacy. Later, Donald MacLeod, a loyal supporter of the MacDonald Lord of Isles, played a key role in the clan's history during the 17th century. Despite facing challenges and conflicts over the centuries, the Clan MacLeod has endured. So, yeah, it goes into their history. So what's really interesting, and I had done a video about this a while back. Oh, and then regarding, before I go on to that, Donald Trump is a direct descendant of King Haakon V of Norway, a Viking Age king who reigned, as I said, 1213 to 1319. And this connection is shared with the Iceland's president. King Haakon V is only legitimate daughter, Duchess, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce her name, married into Swedish royalty and became the mother of King Magnus of Norway and Sweden. What's interesting is when you do read into these kings, it seems like, you know, they had, in the beginning, many of them, you know, signed on to the Roman Catholic stuff in the very beginning. It wasn't until you had people standing up against it, because it seems that the church, especially the Roman Catholic Church, with how much they get wrong and their abuse to children, has just been used as a form of you know, being another king. And given that they dress like the Pharisees, all those popes, they don't understand Jesus's word. They just don't. I mean, you need people that are truly understand and filled with the Holy Spirit. You're not going to go get filled with the Holy Spirit going to seminary school. I don't care what anybody tells you. I'm telling you that's 100% factual. So I think that as time went on, then you know, you had your people that were like, yeah, that doesn't make sense. It just seems like somebody that's coming in. And the way they frame it, of course, is that, well, God wanted us to spread the Christian faith. Yeah, I think you needed to leave that in his hands, and, you know, you just do as you would, be an example in the world of it, not go demanding it of people. But the Catholic religion, you know, all the excuses. Nothing but excuses from that group. Yeah, we'll see how that goes over with God. But I'm just saying. But everybody's now taken in by the Catholic Church. So that's why it shows we just kind of become dumber as time goes on. We don't really get wiser or smarter. I mean, really, because most of the world is now under the capture of the Catholic Church. You won't get most of them out of it, either because of laziness or because there's no way they can believe it. Even though Jesus said everything in this planet is like just deception everywhere. But no, I'm going to believe the Catholic Church. Anyway, I wanted to bring up something I did a video about a while ago, because it goes to the Viking kings and the Hebrides. And it's these Lewis chessmen in the British. So the history behind these freaky things. I mean, you can find tons of different kinds of chess boards, okay? But these are really, they're old, and I don't know if they have all of their pieces yet either. Because there's like 88, and they're missing 93, but then one in 2019, they had discovered another one. So there's a whole history behind one of the MacLeods finding this on some seashore, but it was underneath like a sandy, you know, embankment. And when he opened it, was like freaked out, because they're freaky looking. Like, they're just really bizarre looking. They're all made out of walrus ivory. The Lewis chess pieces are intricate chess pieces in the form of Norse warriors that were carved from walrus ivory in the 12th century. A large hoard of the chess pieces totaling 93 objects, making up some 4 chess sets, were discovered in 1831 on the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides. The elaborately carved pieces soon became featured attractions at museums. They're just weird looking. And then they acquired another one. I guess part of the pieces are in England, and part of them are in the museum, and part of them are in Scotland. So, somebody in 2019 found them in their kitchen drawer. It was wrapped nicely, but they had no idea how much it was wanted. I think this is the queen. I don't know. They're very involved, but that's the story of the world we live in. It's a big old chess game for all the kings, and, well, the rest of us are just the pawns, right?